Today I have like a minute and a half of new music to show you, not in drum and bass, but in house music. I have talked about it a few times on this channel that I'm playing a set for a concert coming up. That concert is tomorrow, and part of me was optimistic I could finish a song today that I could put into that set, and maybe I'll get a little bit further into this and maybe we'll get to something, but we're kind of far off from having a completed song. But the beginning of that set is house music, and so I was like, maybe I could learn some, maybe I could make a track here that I could use in that set, and using the tools and skills I've been learning in the beat battles about like manipulating and warping samples, I pulled in this song Boyhood from Japanese House. If you've never heard the song, go listen to it. Amazing band, fantastic song. This is one of my this is the most important song on my playlist. It's gonna be okay. It's such a good like anti-anxiety, like you're gonna be all right sort of song to me. And it has this really kind of like consistent beat to it. If I play kind of this is the song but sped up. It's got kind of this vibe to it. And this isn't house music, but it's not far off with kind of the where the foundation, you know, that 4 on the floor kind of groove is. So I've been taking that track, pulling down samples, pulling down bits of it here. This will sound more interesting to you if you know the song already, so maybe go listen to their song before hearing this, but I'm just going to play this all the way through, and then we'll kind of talk through some of the stuff I've done and where I'm planning on going afterwards.
Else, but I've been out looking for me. It doesn't matter what I tell myself. For a moment there I swear I saw me. I want to meet somebody new, change beneath the evening light, and she held me kinda like you do. I hope you know.
That's basically it. The end there just kind of keeps going, keeps looping that. So obviously we're still very early on in this track, haven't got to like the first real drop yet, but a lot of fun things and a lot of growth, a lot of maturity compared to like the very first house track I made, which I made before I even started this channel. But going back and listening to it, it's funny how much I've learned since then. This little topper here is one of my favorite parts. We rendered that from up here, where we're doing a lot with Shaper Box, a lot of different things going on here. The first is a filter that's just cutting out the low end, instead of doing that in other places, which looks like it's also being done with the channel EQ, but just kind of like adding to that effect there. And then this time shaper that if I turn off, you hear that it's a very different groove, especially that it doesn't have that da-da sound in it there. Boom, chicka chicka dee 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 da chicka da. I think that's a fun groove that we were able to make it slightly different. This is a sample I got off of Splice, but I want to manipulate it a little bit so it's not just me just plopping a sample into place and make it my own a little bit. The next thing we have is this reverb envelope that's set over 4 bars, and it's different in the first 2 bars and the second 2 bars, so it's just we kind of have that little ta 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 sound to get nice and reverby one time, and then the next time around it's much more dry. And that does a lot for making this topper have a shape and a characteristic instead of just being like a thing that's looping every 4 bars. It does sound a little bit different each time. But to not have this part just be boring, in the spot where we were doing reverb tail, we are now have it getting crushed just a little bit. You hear just that last one, there's a little bit of like a edge to it. Both the reverb and the crush charge effects I started out really strong and then toned down as I was listening to it. I was like, I don't need this to like do that much there. And then the last thing we have is just a compressor just to kind of bring it up a lot. Some of the reverb was making some of the spots a little bit louder, so we just put a compressor there to knock those down, make it a little bit better in range. Our hi-hats we have alternating in the pan, so there's just 7 degrees of pan on our hi-hats there at the top. Just a little bit of bounce to it to give it a little bit more space. When it comes to the samples, though, there's a lot of fun things we're doing. The main guitar part of this song, or whatever this sound is, very low-passed sound. It's got a lot of just wonderful beauty to it. I really like that sound a lot. And it's got, so we took that and made that kind of our main first sample here with this sound, where I just looped it. And have it swell up at first. And then that stays pretty consistent for a while, but then when we have the vocals come in, we pull it back down. It's a little bit more muted down there. This bass here is also from the song. I will say this bass sound it's already got like a lot of sidechain compression and stuff already on it because it's literally being pulled from a bass stem. So this is the Logic's AI pulling that bass out of the song. And obviously it's going, any compression that's happened on that bass will already be done on this. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep this bass. I might just use that and put in some like a sub bass of my own. But I do like this. I'll probably mix this in with a sub bass I do to keep just a little bit of that characteristic of the song. I do like the articulations on it. Yeah. I did rearrange some of the parts here. You can see here up here where I was kind of like building it to take out some of the chord progression. I don't want it to be too harmonically interesting too early in the song. House music is very much just harmonically in kind of one place for a long time. And then when you get into drops, you can kind of start to do a little bit more interesting harmonic stuff. So this is a piece that changes chords almost every measure. So I wanted to kind of take that out. I swapped this chord in for a second 1 chord. So for your theory people out there, it's 4, and then 1, and then 1 again. And then 1, 6, or like 3. You could hear that as a 3, but with the rest of the harmonic context, I hear that as 1, 6, which that means just literally 1 in first inversion. So it's literally 4 and then 3, 1 chords. And then we do 4, 1, 1. And then I might do some other like version of the 1 here that like echoes out across this transition. We got this little guy down here. I found this guy. This guy was pretty cool. I didn't really do anything to him other than add a sweep through him there, but and this is the same sound, just pulled down in volume, so it's a little bit less further up in the mix. This is just a sample from Splice as well. Love that little sound. It added a nice texture, especially as I'm pulling back a lot of the texture here. We've got the bass drum muted, and then we have on both our both this texture as well as this texture, a lot of things pulling back to make space and kind of pulling back energy for the sake of the vocals so that we can add it back in when we come out of the vocals on their side. I don't know if we'll put bass in immediately. I'm not quite sure where we're gonna go from here. I really like how it comes in there, and there's still like a subdued energy. If I put the bass in right there, it's almost like it's a drop, so we might continue to build up here. But we need a few more like whoosh sounds to get us places right now. The only other thing we did that was really cool was grabbing this. So we built it up here, right? Yeah. Grabbing a chunk of this guitar part that happens later on where there's a lot more texture going on. Very pretty sounds. Lots of layered guitars going on. So we just took the place where it did a 1 chord and we looped that like so on this one here. And then we did some shaper box stuff. We low pass or high pass filtered it, so took out all the bass of it, and then put a liquid envelope on it that spanned a long bit that created kind of that sound in there, just using some phaser, and then some reverb that kind of just changes in shape as it goes on. Just wanting to make it, I don't know, just more interesting and kind of muffle it all. We want it to be like obviously that guitar part looped a bunch of times, where this created kind of a nice pad basically. And so then when we go to it over here, I again We have it fade in. This is actually the gain, so we're having it actually increase in volume, but then also high cut increasing here. If you listen to it by itself. I think it's a really good ramp up of like solid, hopeful energy there, and that it's beautiful how much that the high cut raising up and letting in that high end really makes a difference. I think all this is easily the best part of the song right now is this little bit.
I want to meet somebody new, change beneath the evening light, and she held me kinda like you do. I hope you know.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. I think this is really a great idea that I'm really excited to keep working on. And honestly, I think if I hadn't gotten distracted watching a football game, I probably would have made a lot more progress. But this was like an hour of work or something like that. So we're definitely getting faster. The Bishu stuff was really cool. I kind of want to just give myself deadlines. I want to like tomorrow's the concert, so I probably won't do this tomorrow. But maybe on Sunday, give myself a goal of, hey, I've got 2 hours to sit down here and record with you guys and finish this song. And I think I could probably get pretty close to having it done, so that'd be pretty cool. Anyways, yeah, hope you guys liked it. That's all I had time for today. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.